The Sisu is part of the Danish family of kayaks, designed by Jesper Krohmann Andersen. There's three sizes of boats in this family: the shorter Carla, the longer Prana, and the Sisu, which at 16 feet is right in the middle. These kayaks are extremely versatile, high-performance sea kayaks that are user-friendly. I paddled a lot of sea kayaks in the last 30 years, and I would put these up against any of them in terms of performance and quality of build. If I was going to pick one word to describe this boat, it would be balanced. The Sisu managed to do a lot of things well. It's long enough to keep pace with longer boats and to take trips with. It's short enough to be nimble and maneuverable. It'll hold enough gear to do a trip of a week or more. It really is at the sweet spot in terms of one kayak to do everything. So let's talk about three things in this design that make it so versatile. The three things that I want to touch on are the asymmetric hull shape, the rocker distribution and the volume in the bow, and the cockpit setup. First thing, asymmetric hull. This is what they call a Swede form boat. The widest part of the boat is behind the center line of the hull, here at the seat. Having the widest point back here instead of up farther forward makes the boat faster, more stable, and more maneuverable on edge. So why does it make it faster? It's cutting a smaller hole through the water. It's a sharper shape as it splits the water, and it makes a smaller bow wave. So a boat that's asymmetric is always going to be quicker than a similar hull where the widest point is farther forward. That's one of the things that makes this little 16-foot boat able to keep pace with longer 17 and 17-foot plus boats on a day trip or on a tour. It's really fast for its length. The next thing that we talked about was stability. Having the widest point of the boat right at the seat means that you're sitting in the most stable part of the kayak. The felt stability of a boat like this is much better than a boat with the widest part farther forward. It also gives you great control for edging because your butt is right where the boat needs to be controlled. And then finally, we'll talk about maneuverability on edge. The great thing about an asymmetric hull is you kind of get the best of both worlds. You can have a boat that tracks straight when it's flat, but as soon as you kick up a little bit of edge, it'll carve a nice turn. That's because the asymmetric shape helps the stern to release better so the boat will skid. And you can get a boat that's 16 feet long that turns like a 15-footer. So you get a lot of maneuverability and nimbleness out of the design because of that plan view shape. Next, we're going to talk about rocker profile and volume distribution. So rocker is the curve of the keel line of the boat toward the bow and stern, like a rocking chair rocker. A boat with more rocker turns more easily. A boat with less rocker goes straight. The rocker profile on the Sisu and the other Danish boats is distinct. It's got a little bit more rocker in the bow than it has in the stern. That helps to keep the bow loose when you're in a following sea, when the waves are coming from behind you. The other thing that really contributes to a sort of sea friendliness in those conditions is the volume in the bow. A lot of kayak bows are kind of pinched in like this in a concave shape. The Sisu has a lot more volume up front. It's a convex shape, and that volume helps to keep the bow of the boat on top of the water. If you think about if you're taking off in a following sea with a wave behind you, what happens is the stern of the boat gets lifted up and the bow wants to dig in. If you've got a really sharp bow, it's going to dig in hard and the boat's going to broach sideways. The Sisu doesn't have that problem because of the volume and because it's got a little bit more rocker up front. Last thing we're going to talk about is the cockpit setup. This is a really comfortable cockpit, very ergonomic in terms of its design. Padded seat, adjustable hip pads to let you shim out the boat to fit you just right, an immersion research ratcheting back band that you can tighten or loosen while you're sitting in the boat. The setup is really great. The most important thing though is the knee height. One of the things you're going to notice about the Danish designs is that the knee height is higher in these boats than it is in many sea kayaks. It's kind of a weird thing in the world of sea kayaks that people want to cram themselves into the smallest boat that they can. That is not good for paddling efficiency. A higher knee position makes it easier to rotate, easier to paddle efficiently, easier to brace and roll. And you'll find that the knees in these boats are distinctly higher than a lot of other kayaks out there. The thing that's great about all these boats, and it really sets them aside from a lot of sea kayaks, is how very confidence-inspiring they are on the water. You can get into one of these kayaks as a beginner or an improving kayaker and feel very much in control. It lets you do what you want to do on the water without worrying about the boat. And then that same set of performance characteristics means that an advanced paddler can get all kinds of performance out of these hulls. So you're looking at a kayak that you're never going to outgrow. We build them right here in Winona, Minnesota. If you want to learn more about our Danish designs or any of our other kayaks, you'll find that information on our website at cdkayak.com.